Elvis was insulted by a nasty, inebriated man who entered his show and told him he had to prove he was a man. Rather than being removed by security, Elvis did something that caused the arena to fall silent. Elvis was playing at the Las Vegas Hilton on November 14th, 1976. Among his busiest performances of the year was this one. Elvis was fueled by the enthusiasm of the 20,000 people in the audience, who enjoyed every moment of his performance. After a thrilling performance, he was transitioning from Burning Love to Hound Dog when an incident occurred that would never be forgotten by everyone in that audience. A gruff voice sliced through the crowd noise and music like a dagger, through silk around the middle of the performance. "Elvis, you're just a fake," stated Bobby Big Mike Henderson, a 35-year-old Phoenix construction worker. Since lunchtime, he had been drinking excessively at the hotel bar. Big Mike, you might say, earned his living by causing trouble. That kind of guy who thought popular people should be slowed down and who preferred to pick fights at sporting events. In actuality, he was a fan of Elvis and did not attend his event. He did that in order to make an odd point about how soft and phony celebrities are. "Hear me, Presley. You're a fake," Elvis interrupted a song to protest. They were lost, and the band gradually ceased playing. The drunk man, sitting motionless, shifting slightly and pointing fiercely at the stage, caught the attention of 20,000 spectators. Elvis did everything you would expect from a talented performer right away. He made an effort to downplay it and return the attention to the show. With that recognizable Southern charm, Elvis said into his microphone, "Well, hello there, friend." In an attempt to improve the situation, the audience chuckled and said, "It looks like we have a music critic in the house tonight." The majority of the hecklers either sit down in embarrassment or are escorted out by security when the artist informs them that they are being heard. However, Big Mike was different from other hecklers. "Boy, why don't you be my friend? You think your nice clothing and singing make you so tough?" "Hey, listen up," Mike cried back, and his voice reverberated throughout the arena. "Come down here and show that you're a man." The atmosphere in the room immediately changed. This was no longer just drunk talk, and everyone could sense the tension building, because this was a straight challenge. Elvis briefly stood at the microphone and turned to face the inebriated man who was causing the audience to shift in their seats. "Sir," Elvis's cool but slightly abrasive voice said, "like everyone else, you paid a lot of money to be here tonight. Let's all just listen to the music." "I don't want to listen to your music," Mike yelled back. Security guards were approaching Mike's area, but Elvis put up his hand to stop them. "Are you more than just a mama's son who sways his hips to adolescent girls? That's what I want to know." Elvis's rage about the last statement was evident to everyone in the crowd. Elvis's jaw tightened, and for a moment, his famous smile vanished. The crowd became restless, with some jeering at Mike and others calling for security to remove him. The once joyful and joyous atmosphere turned tense and unpleasant, and everyone, including Elvis's band and crew, was taken aback by what transpired next. Elvis set down his microphone and started to move toward the edge of the stage, not telling security to remove the heckler or attempting to ignore him and continue the performance. "Do you really want to know if I'm a man? You think I'm just a cute boy who can't handle himself?" Elvis spoke, and his voice could now be heard clearly through the arena's sound system. 20,000 spectators held their breath, unsure of what they were about to witness, and the field was extremely quiet. "Well, friend, I tell you what. Why don't you come up here and we'll settle this like gentlemen?" The crowd erupted as Elvis turned to face Big Mike, with some shouting. "Don't do it, Elvis!" The security officers were frantically trying to decide what to do, as others applauded. Elvis continued to exhort the audience. "Come on up here," gesturing to the stage. "Do you need to prove something?" Colonel Parker, Elvis's employer, was reportedly suffering a heart attack in the wings, but Elvis wasn't finished yet. Big Mike started to make his way onto the platform, feeling more confident after drinking and receiving a lot of attention. "Let's show it," We're not going to fight like animals. Though, we're going to settle this the way men do." "Yes, we certainly are," he shouted. Elvis told security to leave when they attempted to stop him. When Big Mike eventually made it to the platform, he tripped a little as he came up, and the entire audience went crazy. Elvis instructed him, "Let him come. Let him come up." Some individuals approached to see what would happen as the screaming persisted. Elvis moved to where Mike was, and the two guys stood for a time facing one another. Big Mike was sweating and swaying, obviously intoxicated but still furious, while Elvis appeared cool and collected in his iconic white jumpsuit. "Okay, friend," commented Elvis. Now he was close enough to be heard over the microphone on his costume. "I would like to make you an offer." "Do you want to show who the real man is?" Mike responded. "Bring it on," in a slurred voice. "Here's what we're going to do." Elvis's voice suddenly assumed the confident, silky tone that had won over millions of followers. "Just the two of us, at this moment. We're going to have a singing contest. Everything goes to the winner." Because the notion was so unexpected and completely different from what anyone had anticipated, it took a time for the crowd to digest it. A singing contest. This inebriated individual is competing in a song contest against Elvis Presley. Then, there was laughter throughout the crowd. Then another person. Everyone in the venue was cheering and laughing in a matter of seconds. Instead of the tension that had been escalating into violence, there was an abrupt enthusiasm about something very different. However, Big Mike wasn't happy about it. "I want to fight with you. I don't want to sing with you." "Oh no, that's too bad," a smiling Elvis said, "because this is my stage. My organization operates in this manner. Would you like to demonstrate your superior strength to mine? Demonstrate your ability to perform what I do. Sing." Elvis gestured toward Charlie Hodge, a musician and old friend who stood there gaping. "Charlie," said Elvis, "give the man a mic." The band prepared to play because Elvis instructed them to, despite their continued shock. Big Mike unexpectedly became the center of attention when he took the microphone. A mixture of perplexity and horror filled his gaze as he surveyed the arena. "Tell me what I should sing." "What?" His tone shifted from one of anger to one of uncertainty. As he said, "What are you talking about?" 20,000 people want to hear what you have to say, so Elvis was nice and said, "Whatever you want, friend. Now is your chance." The following events were amusing and oddly poignant. Big Mike allegedly tried to sing "My Way," the only song that came to mind when he was intoxicated. Despite being obviously out of place, he felt constrained by his own self-assurance. He performed poorly, as was to be expected. Charlie Hodge had to steady him to prevent him from toppling over since he swayed so much. Additionally, he was off tune and only remembered half the phrases. Here's what's truly intriguing, though. However, he was neither jeered or laughed at by the audience. Another thing took place. As Mike struggled through the song, the audience began to applaud him. He appeared open and ashamed. "You can do this. Keep going. Sing it, Mike." Standing beside him, Elvis began to applaud and encourage him. When Mike forgot the phrases, Elvis would whisper them to him. When he was ready to give up, Elvis wrapped his arm around him and kept him going. By the time Big Mike finished his clumsy rendition of "My Way," the atmosphere had altered. For a brief moment, this inebriated, irate, and impolite individual who had come to cause trouble was just another person trying their hardest at a difficult task. Not because he performed well, but because he made an effort. And since Elvis had won over everyone, even the most irate heckler, the crowd gave him a standing ovation. "That was beautiful, Mike," replied Elvis with apparent sincerity. "I can't believe they're cheering for me. That was very brave." Big Mike, who was obviously upset but no longer angry, looked around the arena in shock. "Of course they are. That was brave of you. You tried something new in front of 20,000 people. That's more than most people ever do." "I guess it's my turn now," Elvis said, smiling at the audience. However, Rather than flaunting one of his big hits or demonstrating his superiority over the heckler, Elvis did something that revealed his true self. He sang a straightforward gospel song called "He's Got the Whole World in His Hands" that captivated the audience. The king of rock and roll and a drunk Phoenix construction worker stood on stage together and sang church music, and 20,000 people joined in. When the song ended, Elvis turned to Big Mike and smiled, saying, "I have a question for you. What made you so mad tonight?" he asked, giving Big Mike chorus parts so he could feel like a real part of the show. The inquiry appeared to open something inside Big Mike, and it was delivered with genuine concern. "What's making you so mad?" In front of 20,000 people, this hardy construction worker started crying. Mike shook his head and spoke over the microphone. My wife left me. I lost my job last month. I just wanted someone to notice me. I wanted to be important." The field was silent. Mike felt Elvis's touch on his shoulder. "Brother, you're important. I, and everyone else in this room, care about you. Everybody has moments when they feel lost and frustrated. To improve your own self-esteem, you don't have to disparage other people." What Elvis did next was the subject of stories told by people in Las Vegas. Mike didn't come up here to stir things up, but Elvis said to the audience, "Ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you about the real courage I've seen tonight." Mike was expressing his pain to someone and requesting assistance. That requires more courage than any battle. After that, Elvis said, "I'm going to help Mike find a job in Las Vegas myself, and if anyone in the audience runs a construction company and needs a hard worker, they should talk to his people after the show. That's how we help each other. We help, we don't break, we build." Big Mike remained on stage for the remainder of the performance. He occasionally joined in on songs when Elvis asked him to. He had transformed from the most unpleasant aspect of the act to one of its highlights by the conclusion of the evening. 3 owners of construction companies approached Elvis Presley's management after the performance and made job offers to Mike. After choosing one, he relocated to Las Vegas and worked there for 15 years, eventually getting his teeth chopped. More significant, though, is that the tale of what transpired that evening spread throughout Las Vegas and beyond. It became a well-known tale about handling conflict with grace, compassion, and love. Other musicians began discussing how Elvis handled the hecklers. Rather than relying on law enforcement or security to cope with disruptive audience members, some people began devising creative ways to transform the negative energy into positive ones. Elvis showed us that every heckler is just a person having a bad day. In front of 20,000 people, he turned an enemy into a friend, claimed comedian Don Rickles, who is notorious for getting into altercations with crowds. That's good morality, as well as good performance. Elvis found the occasion significant because it confirmed to him that his role as a performer involved more than just entertaining audiences. That night I realized I have a duty. Everyone who comes to my show, fan or troll, gives me a chance to make their life a little better. That's not something I do mindlessly, Elvis said to Joe Esposito after the show. During his performances, Elvis began to engage with the audience more personally. He was constantly searching for methods to get in touch with those who appeared to be struggling. Bootleg tapes, which are now among the most sought-after Elvis audio recordings among collectors, captured the entire event. But it's not simply the music that people appreciate. It's how intelligent and considerate Elvis was in handling the dispute. "You can hear Elvis think in real time," Elvis specialist Jerry Osborne stated. "You can hear him come to the conclusion that understanding is preferable to judgment, and that love is preferable to conflict. It serves as an illustration of how to be a good person." The Elvis and Big Mike Henderson story served as an illustration of how to handle conflict in any situation. Elvis made the decision not to react angrily. Rather, he answered with curiosity, generosity, and originality. He transformed an adversary into a friend, a battle into a therapeutic experience, and an argument into a teaching moment. Civil rights activist Jesse Jackson claimed that Elvis's Performance that evening demonstrated that battling your foes won't advance your cause. In subsequent discussions, Jackson used the incident as an illustration of peaceful conflict resolution. Therapists and conflict resolution instructors use the story of Elvis and the heckler as an example of how to diffuse difficult situations by understanding and sympathizing with the other person. They lose when you love them until they become your friends. That night with Big Mike Henderson before his death in 2003 was a topic of much discussion. He claimed that Elvis saved his life by showing him that there were more constructive ways to cope with his suffering than causing harm to others. Mike stated in his most recent interview that Elvis turned the worst night of his life into the beginning of a better one, saying, "Elvis could have made me look bad in front of all those people. He helped me find my pride instead." In addition to demonstrating that greater hatred is not the greatest solution, the fight between Elvis and Big Mike Henderson shows us that people who are mean usually do it because they are hurting. It entails being understanding, empathetic, and capable of seeing the positive in everyone. Mike could have been ejected by Elvis, had the opportunity to joke about him. He had the opportunity to make him feel miserable because of his position and influence. He made the decision to assist him, heal him, and demonstrate true strength to 20,000 people. Even though it has been over 50 years, people still reminisce about the night Elvis made a rough talker his friend. It was also more than just enjoyable. The individuals there were really nice. In a world where resentment and misunderstandings frequently divide people, perhaps that is the kind of tale we need to hear. Please subscribe and give this incredible tale of how conflict can lead to kindness a thumbs up if it affected you. If someone needs to hear how crucial it is to choose understanding over anger, share this video with them. Have you ever experienced an instance where compassion completely altered your feelings? Comment below. For more incredible factual stories about people's best qualities, don't forget to click that bell.